neon lights, we take a stand. Knights and wizards across the land.
Broadcasting live from Site B, located in the mythical town of Fresno, Nevada, which does not actually exist. It's your boy, the OGGM. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning here on the first Friday of November. The holiday seasons have begun. The Christmas songs are playing. The Christmas trees are going up. The Christmas markdowns have already begun. 2025 is coming to an end. But there's still some Kickstarters you still have a chance to support. So let's take a look. Once again, there's nothing that really impresses me. I think it's going to be really, really hard to impress me for an upcoming Kickstarter going forward. Not that to say that any of these Kickstarters are bad in any ways. I want all of you to be successful, obviously, unless I think the game is really unnecessary. But other than that, we know my bar is pretty high and it's gotten higher. So it's really going to have to impress me for me to go, yeah, this is a must. You guys, but still, we'll see. I haven't looked yet, so we'll see if anything really stands out. As always, thank you, Ian World, for providing these links. You can use the links down below if you want to check these out. The first thing we have is Lodestar. It's not the first time I've heard that word in relationship to space. It must mean something. Spacefarer's Manual, Space Fantasy in 5e. This is a $40 for the PDF and print version of the book. It's sailing a boat in space. Yeah, that sounds kind of familiar. Treasure Island in Space, which is a fun movie, but this doesn't sound like something we've seen before. I don't know. I mean, something about a jammers in the stars. Anyways, it's cheaper than that other book. So there you go. From Evil Hat Productions, we've got Designer and Dragons Origins. TPRG historian Shannon Appleseed, the author of Designers and Dragons, discusses the history of the English language tabletop role-playing games, D&D. And she's managed to write 4 books about D&D. It's amazing how many people seem to know the history of D&D. And when I talk about the history of D&D, and we're there. I don't know who Shannon Appleseed is. I don't know what their resume is, but it's $200 for the PDF, EPUB, and print versions of the 4 books, plus a POD discount, coupons, and slipcase. The other history of D&D book that Wizards of the Coast came out with was like $100. So, the only people who I really want to hear tell me about the history of D&D were either the people who were there or who have no political agenda. And how many history of D&D books do you need? Because there's a lot, right? So maybe this individual is on the level, is going to be, not biased and just tell us the complete history of Dungeons and Dragons in 4 books. I guess each book dedicated to a different generation, maybe, first book dedicated to before for 3, second book dedicated to 3, third book dedicated to 4, and the fourth and final book dedicated to 5. That makes sense in my brain. I don't know if that's actually how it's done. But yeah, okay. $200 though for stuff I could look up online for free. I wish you all the luck in the world, Shannon, but from Dice Dungeons, we have P.T. Lamarck's Cryptid Codex, a beastery for 5e. Remember, kids, if you have no ideas, make a monster book. If you can't make a monster book, make a Lovecraft book. If you can't make a Lovecraft book, I don't know, make scary space book. This book offers cryptids for 5e for $45. You know who else offers cryptids for D20? Me, this guy. You know how much I'm charging for that? $6. Just think about that. 60 of the cryptids, 1 from each state. Funny, I did like 4 from each state, but in my cryptid book. Did you actually contact the people at the cryptid organization? Did you? Anyways, $45 for cryptids made for 5e. So Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, and of course, my personal favorite, the Fresno Night Stalker. I think a lot of us who are fans of cryptids, Fresno Night Stalker is in the top 5, right? If you don't know who the Fresno Night Stalker is, It is basically a glowing pair of pants that walks around Fresno, the real Fresno, California, doing good deeds. It's not a scary cryptid. It's actually supposedly a helpful cryptid. And it's described as a glowing pair of pants. That makes it the best cryptid in my book. From SideQuest, we have the Hut of Baba Yaga for D&D 5e. $75. It's a one-to-one creation of the Baba Yaga and her dancing hut, but also inspired by it. It's got 50 rooms in a dungeon, new monsters, spells, physical, digital, and audiobook options. And it says the hardest, weirdest, funniest dungeon ever. Funniest dungeon ever? I don't know. The funny Castle Greyhawk was pretty funny. Weird and funny are not words I normally associate with a child-eating witch. But, okay. Baba Yaga is a creature of horror. She ate children. But she did have a cool house with chicken legs, and she flew around in a pot. So, she's generally a cool dude. So, I don't know. $75. It says it's free from AI. From Obvious Mimic, we've got The Streets of Port Noir, a 5e solo adventure investigation for $40. It's a solo adventure designed for 5e. You'll deal with Noir investigation in the city. Does anybody want 5e solo rules? Because here you go. Here's 5e solo rules for $40, along with you doing some film noir type stuff in a city. Because film noir is a genre that I would associate with 5e. Is this the part where I say the same thing I say whenever I see these? Or have you heard me say enough right now? By now. They're like, yeah, we know what you're going to say. You know what you're going to say. You've said it. You say it every time you see something like this. So I'm not going to say it. You know what I'm thinking. Anyways, it's $40 to a solo 5e with a film noir bent. That might be an audience out there. I do like the name Obvious Mimic. Is it we've reached the point where if we go in a dungeon, any piece of furniture we think we're just not assuming it's a mimic? Cyberdark from Lightfish Game. It is cyberpunk rules for Shadowdark. This is something Victor was going to do, but then he saw these guys were doing it, so he didn't do it. This was something I was thinking of doing, but then I saw these guys doing it, so I'm going to do it. Does Shadowdark need cyberpunk rules? Absolutely. Does Shadowdark need superhero rules? Absolutely. $100 for the PDF and print version of the core rulebook, GM screen, deck of cards, adventures. $100 for Cyberpunk converted to Shadowdark. Probably 80% of that price is the art. I love Shadowdark. I love supporting my fellow Shadowdark character creators. I hate this art style. But I think I'm alone in hating this art style. Run from the Dark, a horror role-playing game. $65 shipping and handling for PDF and print version of both books. No AI art. No AI was used. It's folk horror tabletop role-playing. Where you were the only force of light against the scared, spooky fighters in the darkness that want to eat you. Because remember, kids, if you don't have any ideas, make a monster book. And if you can't make a monster book, make a Lovecraft book. So you're fighting folk horror. Death City from Polyhedra Games. Here we go. Here's that Merc Borg art style, which I both love and hate. A dark, occult, urban fantasy tabletop role-playing game. For $40, the city is overrun with demons, ghouls, and occult, goth, punk, urban fantasy monsters. It's up to you to chase them down with your fellow mishmash of occult, modern-day demon huntery that might take place in Korea that eats ramen. It uses the Polyhedra system, which we've looked at before, which didn't really impress me. But how do you feel about this art? Like, part of me really loves this sort of grim zine, late mid-1980s, early 1990s punk rock style of art, right? Because this is, what I grew up with, punk rock, art punk type rock art. But part of me hates it because I think it takes away from the game. It just feels so gimmicky. And because it's just, your computer is just looking at this going, please don't make me print that out. Please don't make me print that out. Please don't make me print that out. And I don't know. I mean, I'm old. It's hard on my eyes. It does have that very punk rock, zine, DIY, heavy metal, black metal album cover style, which is something, you know, part of me loves, like I said, but the other part of me, the old curmudgeon-y, I feel bad for my computer part of me is like, I hate this art style. It seems so unnecessary. So I'm 50-50 on the art style. What is your opinion on the art style? All right, so let's see. Does any of these stand out to me? Urban Fantasy for Not Merkberg for the Polyhedra core engine. Monster Book for a system that nobody's ever heard of for $70. $70 for fighting folk horror monsters. Could be okay. Might learn something. Cyberdark. First, it's $100. It's Shadowpunks. I mean, it's Shadowdark, so I want to support Shadowdark, but I hate his art style so much. And no. And you know why I'm saying no, so I don't need to say no again, but I'm going to say it anyway. Stop trying to make 5e something it's not. Associating Baba Yaga with funny, I'm curious. But, you know, most people think Baba Yaga now and they think John Wick and don't know that there actually was a folklore historical boogeyman called Baba Yaga. Monsters for 5e for cryptids. For $50, you get 60 cryptids. For $6, you can get my cryptid book, which has more than one cryptid for each page. Another book telling the history of Dungeons and Dragons for $200. Yeah. No. And not Spelljammer. Totally not Spelljammer. This is definitely not Spelljammer. It's just a 5e game about boats that you can fly through space, but it's definitely not Spelljammer. So, yeah, I wish you all the luck in the world, guys, but nothing really jumps out at me this week. Going into the holidays, I don't know if we're going to see a glut of new product or we're trailing off. I think everybody's being very cautious because of the state of the industry right now, the state of the world right now. That said, let me know if any of those titles jump out to you. You can always use the link down below to go to the EN World page to check them out yourself. And if you do pick any of them up, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if any of these titles jump out to you. And if you're feeling generous and you appreciate the words that come out of my mouth every day, please consider supporting the OGGM by liking, sharing, and subscribing, using my link down below to go to drive-thru and pick up some games, including my game, which is only $6 and has cryptids in it. And generally, just have a great day and happy beginning of the holidays. Stay safe out there. Right now, it's bright and sunny, but we're supposedly getting some rain, so we'll see. Hopefully, you are all doing well, doing something you appreciate. And I appreciate each and every one of you, except for that guy right there. Talk to you later.
Monsters lurking in the night.